Yo, what's good? You tapped in with Latin Actor 209, the spot where the real ones ride, the fakes hide, and the truth stays alive. Let's lock in, because it's about to get heavy. You know, sometimes you come across a story so sick, so twisted, so evil that it doesn't just make you shake your head. It makes you question what's happening to the human soul. And this right here, this tragedy in Minneapolis at the Catholic school, this is one of those moments. A shooter walks into a place of innocence, a school, a Catholic school, a place where kids should be laughing, learning, safe, right? And instead of joy echoing through those hallways, it was gunfire. Da, 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 da. Two children's lives ripped away, 17 more injured, bodies broken, futures stolen in ways we can't even measure yet. And then, just like a coward, the shooter takes his own life. When you sit with that for even 1 second, it doesn't feel real. It feels like a horror movie, but it's not a movie, it's reality. Those two children won't ever walk through their front doors again. Their parents will never hear their voices again. Brothers and sisters will never hear their laughter again. And every single child who survived that day will carry that trauma like a scar carved into their memory. That is sick. That is twisted. That is evil. Now, when investigators dug into who this shooter was, R. Westman, it wasn't some clear political agenda. It wasn't some manifesto screaming ideology. No, it was darker and somehow even more disturbing than that. This person had a fascination with killers themselves, obsessed with them, studying them, writing their names, drawing their symbols, collecting this scrapbook of violence. It wasn't about changing the world, it was about ending theirs violently and making sure the world remembered their name alongside the monsters they worshiped. This is the depth of evil, not just to want to die, but to take children with you, to see murder as art, to write in a journal that killing innocent people, traumatizing a community, would be your masterpiece. Think about how twisted you have to be to call that art. Think about the sickness it takes to look at children and think, I want their faces frozen in shock. That's how I'll say goodbye. Man. And let's not sugarcoat it. This wasn't just obsession, there was hatred all over those weapons, written in silver markers, scribbled, carved in phrases that spit at humanity itself. Hating Christians, Jews, Muslims, black people, Hispanics, everyone. Racist garbage like kick a stick, sick so called jokes about gas chambers plastered on a smoke bomb. All of it, not because this person really believed in an ideology, but because they thought shock value made them powerful. This is evil in its purest form. Hating for the sake of hating, destroying lives for the sake of being remembered. And what did it amount to? Two innocent kids dead, 17 more wounded, a city in mourning, a family in ruin, and the name of one shooter that, yes, might be remembered, but not in glory, only in shame, in disgust, in the long list of broken, cowardly people who chose violence over life. Now, I want to stop here and say something because we can sit in the darkness forever, but if we do, the shooter wins. Evil wins. So let's take a turn. Let's talk about something deeper. Whenever something like this happens, it shakes us, shakes community, shakes the people. It makes us feel like the world is spiraling, like humanity is losing itself. But history tells us something different. History tells us that after every tragedy, people rise, communities gather, Strangers hug. Churches open their doors. Families hold their children tighter. Survivors become advocates. Pain becomes purpose. We can't bring back those 2 children. We can't erase the terror from that day. But we can choose how we respond. We can choose to honor their memory, not by speaking the shooter's name over and over, but by speaking their names, by living for them, by building a world where children don't have to fear their classrooms. And let me tell you something. When someone is so broken inside that they think violence is their masterpiece, the best way to fight back is by showing them they failed. Because love is stronger, community is stronger, healing is stronger. I know right now in Minneapolis, there are parents crying, teachers asking themselves, what more could have I done? Children too young to even understand what they've been through, and that's heavy. But out of that heaviness comes light. Every tragedy in history has sparked movements, has woken people up, has reminded us what really matters. What matters is connection. What matters is love. What matters is making sure that when someone around us is spiraling into darkness, they don't go unnoticed. What matters is raising our kids to value life, to see humanity in each other, to reject hate even when it's dressed up as edgy jokes online. So, I'm telling you right now, the way we fight this sickness is with unity. The way we heal is by refusing to let the shooter's last word be the final word. Because the last word belongs to us, to the survivors, to the families, to the people who stand together and say, you can kill bodies, but you will never kill love. This tragedy was sick, evil, twisted. But if we let it remind us to live louder, to love harder, to fight for peace with everything we've got, then those children's lives will not be in vain. And maybe, just maybe, the masterpiece won't be what that shooter thought it was. The real masterpiece will be the community that rises from the ashes, stronger, more compassionate, more unbreakable than before. So check game. Knowledge is power, but wisdom is survival. This is Latin Actor 209. Salute. I'm out.
Yeah. 1 minute you ride with your day one. Next minute you pouring out liquor with your head low. Rest in peace to the homies. Free the real ones. We just products of what raised us. You some double like us. I remember Lil Dre, we was young in the game. 12 years old, already knowing street names. Pop showed him the chop, Big Bro did time. So by 15, he was deep in the grind. Fast forward, now we sitting in that courtroom cold, looking at a judge while his mama folds. Same corner, same block, different faces every week. One day you the shooter, next day you getting bleak. The hood don't love nobody, that's the raw truth. You either product or a victim in your youth. I seen him smile on Friday, dead by Monday. Caskets closed while the OGs say one day. And it ain't just a gunplay, it's them laws too. They building prison beds off what they think we do. I'm still haunted by the ones who didn't make it out. Now I rap for the fallen, that's what this
Boy,
about.
day you here, next day you gone. Heart full of pain, but I gotta stay strong. Cold world got us trapped in this maze. From the block to the box or early grave. We products of pain, got raised by the street. But the love don't last, only death repeat. So I hold on tight to the ones still breathing, and pour for the lost ones who ain't leaving.
They say environment shapes who you become. Well, mine came with shells, sirens, and a gun. Mama worked doubles, pops never came back. So the homies on the block became my map. At 16, it felt like we ran the land, but every year we lost another to the devil's hand. It's a cycle spinning, watch you drop next. Young soul gone, now they tatted on the neck. Reaper pulling up in a tinted out Benz, and the feds kicking doors in on our friends. You start with a dream, end with a charge, or you out here trying to dodge that black Dodge. So I walk light, pray heavy, move smart, cause love get you killed if you show too much heart. Now I teach my youngins to think before they go, cause I seen what happens when that ghetto won't let go.
One day you here, next day you gone. Heart full of pain, but I gotta stay strong. Cold world got us trapped in this maze, from the block to the box or an early grave. We products of pain, got raised by the street, but the love don't last, only death repeat. So I hold on tight to the ones still breathing, and pour for the lost ones who ain't leaving.
Ain't no love in the section, only chalk on the floor. Hugs turn to handcuffs when you walk through that door. Judge don't care that you was just trying to eat. He just see a number in a file from the street, and the homie you grew up with might not make it. Caught in that system, now the state gon' break him. Yeah, it's like a drug, the street life. You hate it, but you can't quit it. And by the time you wanna change, the door done closed. So tell your little homies, one day you here, next day you gone. Long live the real. Rest in peace to the fallen.